All right, guys, we're back to the YouTube channel. So this video is going to be a video that's being requested by one of the viewers. So how to eliminate and I'm gonna try to see if I touch base on everything that he wanted to know. How to eliminate emissions. So what I asked him is, what do you mean taking the catalytic converter, which is a converter that sits right in there. Hey, how's it going? So the converter that sits right in there. So when you eliminate that, it's going to give you an F1 light. Once it gives you an F1 light, then the bike is not going to run good. On top of that, you have to, when you get your full exhaust, usually people do a full exhaust, not like a custom exhaust, meaning they buy it for their bike. You can either keep the O2 sensor, which will still give you an F1 light, though I think because you eliminated the catalytic converter. But you still got to send your ECU out to get flashed, or the person that's doing your dyno tune, they can flash it if they got the resources for that. So there's some bikes that have two O sensors, one on the top, like around the headers, and then one behind the catalytic converter. I deleted mine's. I don't know about other bikes, but in my instance I only have one. I deleted it, and then you have to take out, because mine's had the butterfly valve. I also took that out and disconnected it all, which it was all underneath the gas tank, and just I left it unplugged. You don't have to put nothing special plugging it up. Probably they sell stuff like to plug it and make the computer think that you still have that, but I just eliminated that and just went with the ECU flash. The ECU, at least on my bike, sits right. So you take the seat off and it sits in this square piece, and just unplug it and then send it into whoever's going to do your stuff. I seen another guy's YouTube channel, and his ECU was sitting towards the back. So and I think it's BMW that sits underneath the tank. Don't quote me on that, but I think I saw that they have theirs on the tank. So your ECUs can be in different places depending on your bike. But oh, so your F1 light, it's going to be an F1 light, and it doesn't throw a code unless you have a scanner. So if you have a scanner, then the code should be around here in this area. It's going to come up with the F1 light. Now F1 light can be multiple reasons why there's an F1 light. So your airbox can be disconnected. There's a air sensor. At least mine is on the left side on the airbox. If I unplug it and turn on the bike, an F1 light will come up. And if we never flash the bike for the O2 sensor for the emission, F1 light would have came up. Those are the only two reasons why I've had F1 lights come up. I mean, you can probably have some electrical malfunction where you get an F1 light, but at least my two times that I had an F1 light has been because O2 sensor and the O sensor for the airbox sensor, or the air sensor, and the O2 sensor. And like I said, how to fix that problem is well, your airbox, your sensor might gone bad. Just order a new sensor, get the correct one from your company, or Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, whoever's your brand. And again, if you eliminate the O2 sensor, you're going to have to get it sent out to do an ECU flash. That's an automatic. Dyno tuning is very good once you put all your aftermarket parts. Do all your aftermarket parts as one piece, or at least try to, because then you want to get a dyno tune to get everything dialed in. Sometimes the aftermarket parts that we do on our bikes, our cars, we actually do more harm than good until we don't do a dyno tune, and then they can tune up the bike to how it needs to be. So a bike or a motor needs three things: air, fuel, and ignition. So if the ignition timing is wrong, it will throw off the motor. It won't run as best as it can. If you throw off the fuel, too much fuel or too less of fuel will throw off as well. Air, too much air can throw it off, or less of air can also throw it off. A lot of stuff can give you misfires, and what is misfires is, again, that the timing of all the components is not correct for each cylinder: spark, air, and fuel. So I believe there is a scanner tool that you can use if you do run with F1 lights and you don't know what it is. I don't know that scanner tool, and I never bought one because I haven't needed it. But I've seen there's other people that have used it on their YouTube channel, but each one OBD is different on each bike, so I don't get into none of that. Again, if there's something internal with the motor, I don't mess with the internals. I do spark plugs, coils, but I don't got the place to do cams and none of that, so I can't really help my viewers for that. But I definitely can tell you this one has already, like I said, O2 sensor eliminated, plugged up, ECU flash, so I don't get no F1 light. The only F1 light that I get is from the airbox, and that's it. But so while we're on this topic of fixing, and I just got done fixing my screw, because these were chewed out when I bought the bike, and I've never been able to really have these on, because every time the bolt would come out and then these would try to fly out, and I would have to try to pinch them with my leg. I've had it where I had to keep it under my armpit as I'm trying to drive home, so it's super unsafe. So I finally got a rivet gun. I wasn't perfect with it because I'm still learning with that rivet gun, but it's done. We did it on both sides, so that one's there. I could have done it a different way, which I'm gonna explain now. I'm gonna go grab the gun. So I could have done it a different way, where I used the factory screws, and I should have done it that way, but then I would have to drill a big hole, and I didn't want to really drill a big hole just to put these inserts in for the rivet. So where's it at? I think it was an M6. Here it is. I used a M5. M6 is way much bigger. Let me show you guys the size difference. Let me turn on the light for you for this. So here is an M6, and you have to drill a hole a little bit bigger to insert it compared to this one, right? So I still had to drill a hole. I got it, you know, this is the M5. This is a step above, but this is the factory screw, right? I should have just did the factory screw, but I was like, you know what? If this doesn't work, then I will have to like drill this one out and then make a hole much bigger. But I prefer starting off small, and then if I have to, I'll go bigger. So that's that. And then, so here's the tool. So here, I like this tool. I got it on Harbor Freight for like $50, but it comes with all different sizes of rivets. And here's the gun, right? So here's the gun. Here's the tool that goes with it. And here's the box. This is a cool box, you know. That's all the stuff. And they got M5, M6, and M8, and then all the 5/16 by 18, 10 by 24, 1/4 by 20. So like they got different sizes to use. So here's my drill bit that I've been using. I do have the other brand, but I've been chewing up those drill bits. So yeah, I'm still learning, right? So what you don't want to do with this is compress it at like to the max, right? So like that's the max, right? So, ooh, my bad. So how this works is you're going to want this open like this, and once it's open like this, you want to press inwards. But I wanted to, like, I thought that once it's maxed out closed, that's where it wants to be at. But no, like you just gotta get it to where you know it's in there, because if you overdo it, it does a loud crunch. When it does that loud crunch, guess what? It actually ate twice. It happened to me with those new ones that I did. So it actually ate. There's threading in there, so thread got pushed out with this, with the threading in here, right? Because you're pushing too much force into it, so it's actually eating the threads in there. Luckily, it still works. It still works, but if I would have did it right, I wouldn't have no threads getting chewed up. So 2 of them I did mess up because there wasn't enough pressure. Because again, I was learning, there wasn't enough pressure for this to dig into the material. See, there's 2 of them there that I messed up. And you gotta like push, you gotta push in while you're clamping, and you gotta make sure it stays straight. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it works. You just gotta do your research on this, you know, how to change it out. Like this piece gets screwed inside of here. So it's a whole thing. If I can get it in, all right. So like I said, it's a learning process, and there's YouTubers that actually make videos. See, so you can see that part right there, and then when it goes in, it pushes in, right? But depending on how far you have, let's see if I can hold it with my legs, right? So depending on how far you have this piece, so if I move up, it will sit up differently. So when I put it in, I can actually squeeze in because it has more movement. But anyway, there's a whole YouTube video about that. The point is, Harbor Freight sells that with all these pieces. I love it. I don't regret it. Like I said, I could have used all my factory bolts if I would have just took my time, but I'm actually happy. I'm not upset with it because, again, I don't want to take off too much material and then I mess up and then I gotta re-drill all that stuff, and then to a point where I can't even put an insert in. The next spot that I want to do an insert, which I'm not going to do today because I don't really want to take my time with this, is in here because I stripped it out, or the thread lock stripped it out. But there's 2 of them that I'm missing, and they even messed up my rotor. Took a big chunk out of it on both sides, right there and right there, after I painted it. But it is what it is. But yeah, so bike is almost done. She needs some work with paint. Gotta sand that down, paint it. I want to sand all this stuff down again and do another paint job. Some paint got chewed up here, painted, and I think some on the bottom of this piece right here also got some paint taken off. That was from doing the brake fluid. Chews up paint very fast, and this paint is very cheap, so as soon as it touches is as soon as it starts eating up the paint. But yeah, guys, definitely subscribe to the channel, put a like. You guys been helping me out a lot with my views, and I mean, my money's been going up faster with YouTube now, which is good compared to what it used to be. So I encourage people to keep watching my videos, show me a lot of love, support. But anyways, subscribe to the channel, put a like, put a comment, let me know what other video you guys want me to watch. Ride safe, drive safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.